HeLa cells are a unique cell line developed in 1951 by a biologist named George Guy. They were a line taken from a woman named Henrietta Lacks and have been critical in developing thousands of medications, treatments, and cures for diseases. While many people's lives have been changed by HeLa cells, most people have remained unaware of the impact they've had. Without the developments they've helped to create, many people's lives would have been cut short by diseases that are now preventable. HeLa cells came from a woman named Henrietta Lacks who died from an aggressive form of cervical cancer in 1951. Before she died, a biologist named George Guy took a sample of her tumor to attempt to grow a reliable line of human cells. This had been only one of the many attempts to create a reliable human cell line, but all of the previous attempts had eventually died. Once HeLa cells were proven to be a good source of human cells, they were used in many different experiments and are still being used today. The HeLa cell line was a very commonly used line for decades. While other cell lines were eventually created, HeLa cells were still strongly preferred by many scientists. This was for a number of reasons. HeLa cells were easily infected with diseases, which allowed for rapid reproduction. This allowed scientists to test new treatments and cures. They were also shipped to research laboratories at a low cost, meaning any biologist could easily obtain a vial of HeLa cells and start growing their own supply. Due to their cancerous nature, they reproduced much more quickly than healthy cells. While healthy cells are set to reproduce a certain number of times due to a mechanic known as the Hayflick limit, this is absent in cancerous cells. In addition to this, they were also effectively immortal. They would continue to live and reproduce as long as they had the nutrients and space necessary to do so. HeLa cells have been used in many medical developments since their beginnings. One of the most notable of these was creating the polio vaccine. The polio epidemic was at its height in the 1950s, and researchers everywhere were desperate to create a cure. HeLa cells were infected with the polio virus, and scientists tested potential cures against them. This eventually led to the polio vaccine that has saved millions of lives. These cells were also used to understand the origins of cancer and how healthy cells become cancerous. They were also used to research the effects of X-rays and helped scientists to discover that radiation increases the chances of future mutations in cells. Henrietta's cells were taken without her knowledge or consent, and her family didn't learn about their use for several decades. Her family had a long history of physical and mental health issues and was struggling to pay for medical treatments. They were especially indignant at the fact that while scientists had made millions of dollars from inventions made possible by Henrietta's cells, they were still struggling to pay for basic medications. A writer named Rebecca Skloot befriended Henrietta's daughter Deborah and worked with her over a period of years to gain a better understanding of who Henrietta was as a person. HeLa cells have proven to be an excellent cell line that has helped researchers to further understand the human body. They have been used in many developments, ranging from creating life-saving vaccines to understanding the mechanics of cancer cells. While most people are aware of the developments that HeLa cells have helped to create, few people understand their source. As a whole, HeLa cells have saved and improved the lives of millions of people worldwide, and they will continue to remain a vital part of research for decades to come.